Acho, you agree with Sean McVay that Matthew Stafford's resume is already established?
No, not at all. And Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay would be lying to themselves. Now, is it established for being an NFL player? Absolutely. Right? 4 years is the 3 years and 3 games is the National Football League minimum. Excuse me, that's the average NFL length is 3 years. Is Matthew Stafford established for an NFL player? Duh. Is Matthew Stafford established for an NFL quarterback? Duh. Is Matthew Stafford established for a number 1 overall pick? That's where it starts to get a little bit dicey. Is Matthew Stafford established for a Hall of Famer? That's where you got to go absolutely not. So Matthew Stafford is established as it pertains to being an NFL player. Yeah, but I was established being an NFL player. I played my 4 years.
Get yours.
I got my pension. I got my annuity. More money. Invested.
More money.
But Matthew Stafford is way better than I. He's better than you, probably.
Chill.
I mean, barely.
Now, he got me by a lot. But I don't like hearing it.
So Matthew Stafford is established based upon the minimum requirements of being established. With Matthew Stafford, your talent makes you great.
Burger.
So for me, it comes down to this. Matthew Stafford, do you want to be Peyton Manning or do you want to be Archie Manning?
Ooh.
That's what it comes down to. Remember, Archie Manning, he played 100 games but had a losing record. Peyton Manning got 2 Super Bowls and multiple MVPs. Peyton Manning, surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. How do you, Matthew Stafford, want to go down? As Peyton or do you want to go down as Archie? That's what Matthew Stafford has to figure out. Because when I think about these former number 1 overall picks that never won a playoff game, think about Jamarcus Russell. Think about David Carr. You think about Jameis Winston. You think about Sam Bradford. But then the number 1 overall picks that have Cam Newton, Peyton, Eli, even Baker has won a playoff game as a number 1 overall pick. Obviously, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, they just got drafted. We'll see what they got cooking for us this weekend. So Matthew Stafford's not established, not as it pertains to how good he is. Matthew Stafford's so much better than me that his ceiling is so much greater than mine. If you're talking about my little basic requirements of being established, sure. But Matthew Stafford, you were the number 1 player coming out of Highland Park High School. Then you were the number 1 player coming out of the University of Georgia. And you have arguably the number 1 arm talent the game of football has ever seen. So you are not established based upon how talented you are. You got to go out there and win some playoff games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I disagree with you, Sean McVay. The genius, I hate to do it, but I got to disagree with you. The thing I hate the most in this world is something that hates me, someone who hates me, anything that comes back at me. That's what I would hate the most. Now, thankfully, I don't know too many people or things that hate me. I don't count social media. So, you know what? Most things in my life, pretty smooth. However, right by I hate those things are the people who try to help you but end up hurting you. I hate when people do that. I'm like, dog, I'll do it by myself. I could do it on my lonely. I could do it all dolo versus you trying to help and you actually come back to hurt me. That's how these comments felt. Like, you're trying to help them out by saying something like this, a little wordplay. And you actually hurt him because now you're highlighting that you don't even mean what you're saying if you're Sean McVay. You better hope that he's not established right now. And I looked up the definition of established, and it says something about you're set up on a permanent basis. So, wait a minute. Who Matthew Stafford is, if that's permanent, does that include that 0-3? Does that include that permanent, he gives the ball away more than he scores in the playoffs? Permanent basis, that means, okay, Sean McVay, you're so smart. Let's keep it simple, stupid. If he lives up to that resume that's established, are you happy? If he just goes out there and be Matthew Stafford, Detroit, Matthew Stafford here, are you happy? No. You talk about he's not established compared to Peyton Manning. He's not established compared to Jared Goff. And he is where Jared Goff used to throw his dirty laundry away. Hey, Jared Goff, Jared Goff ain't got the gangster I got. And I don't have the game he has, so that's why we both on this side. But let me do the Jared Goff I would do. You a number 1 pick, Matthew Stafford? Me too. You been to a Super Bowl yet? Oh, no. You got paid? Me too. You won a playoff game? Oh, I did. Come on, man. Where you at? Jared Goff got Matthew Stafford right now, except Matthew Stafford, most passing yards in NFL history without a playoff win. Like, you got to start to look at these things and break them down for what they are. I ain't taking care of you because football hurts. So guess what? Mentally, I'm going to let you know what the real is. John Wolford has a playoff win and a playoff game win with the Rams. John Wolford. And you talk about it's established that who Matthew Stafford is good enough. Don't do that. Don't imply that. I understand that you shouldn't out them out in front of us in the media and in public, but don't act like this is good enough. Don't act like what he established is good enough. Be real and incentivize him.
And the biggest thing for me, Sel, is you always have to keep the bar parallel to the person's talent. So, Matthew Stafford, your talent is so great, that bar has to be high. If you were an undrafted pick, if you were an undrafted player, then that bar can be lower. But the bar got to be parallel to your talent, big dog. Think about Dak Prescott coming in. The thing that made Dak Prescott so great in perception, if not reality, was that his bar was that of a fourth-round pick.
Okay.
You were a fourth-round pick out of Mississippi State. You weren't number 1 overall that year like Jared Goff. You weren't number 2 overall that year like Carson Wentz. You were fourth-rounder. So Dak was always exceeding his bar. Jared Goff met his bar. He went to a Super Bowl as number 1 overall pick. Impressive. Carson Wentz led his team to the playoffs. Nick Foles got his team to a Super Bowl as a number 2 overall pick. So the Rams are relatively happy they got to a Super Bowl with Goff, and the Eagles are ecstatic. With Carson Wentz on their roster, they won a Super Bowl. But Matthew Stafford is a number 1 overall pick. What you done, big dog?
I'm here.
You think about Baker Mayfield went to a worse organization than Matthew Stafford did when Baker went to the Browns and Matthew Stafford went to the Lions. The Browns won 1 game in 32 years. 1 game out of 32 games, excuse me. No NFL organization, no NFL team has won 1 game out of 32 over that 2-year stretch.
No.
Baker Mayfield went to the Browns, did that, and he's won a playoff game. But Stafford has not. I refuse to lower the bar for Matthew Stafford because I know Matthew Stafford's talent is capable of him exceeding the bar. Now he has to go out there and do it. By saying he's already a made man, Sean McVay is lowering the bar and giving Matthew Stafford a pillow and a comfortable mattress to lie on. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that either. And I don't think that, look, giving Sean McVay some credit, I think that sometimes you say things in the moment that you would say differently retroactively. So in the moment, you're not trying to hang them out to dry, so therefore it's all full motivation and positivity, right? But retroactively, you can look at it a different way. You can start to have a balanced response to it. Look, he says it, I don't want to confine it into Matthew Stafford hasn't won a playoff game, therefore. He's like, Matthew Stafford's done great things, and I agree with him. But at the same time, in this moment, we can't have the same Matthew Stafford that has lost 3 playoff games be the quarterback of these Rams who have aspirations of not just making it to the Super Bowl, Jared Goff, but actually winning the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford. It's like in life, sometimes you meet someone and you know that they've had a checkered past. And whatever it is, it led them to you, and you're led to them. And you're like, it's okay to be happy with the resume you have. Like, accept it, like acceptance. But then, at the same time, in the same breath, you say, I want a little more out of you, big dog. I wish Sean McVay, the genius, and I know he could play with his words and be craftier than this, would have gotten us to a place where not only is Matthew Stafford still expecting to do more, but even Sean McVay and the Rams expect the same.